Hello, I'm Miriam Shiell and welcome to the online edition of Art Toronto 2020. When I was at art school, I seem to remember spending a whole year making shades of grey. Many shades of grey. We mixed colors, we painted little squares, and we did a lot of grey. So my tradition was perhaps more one of a European one. And when I arrived in Canada some years later, I was suddenly pitched into this Greenbergian idea of color. It was a bit of a shock to me, and I had to learn the lessons all again. So around me, it appears I did learn the lesson. So we have here a small group of pictures that are not necessarily related in any way, except they are about color. Color in a very fundamental, primary way. So on my left here is a work by Shiell Etrog, which is painted red, automobile paint red. Shiell did paint works, he painted his bronzes, not too many of them, and they are simply sensational. To see a sculptor move into the realm of color is always an interesting move. Behind me, of course, the great master, Jack Bush, the master of color, and a totally intuitive color. He had no preconceived ideas of what should go with what. The work is from the late 60s, so it's influenced by the time of the 60s, which would have been Vasarely, Adam, etc. So we have the stripes, and he's trying to be a hard-edge painter. Jack was never a very successful hard-edge painter, but it's, as I said, fundamentally all about color. Sometimes you wonder, why does he put this with that? But that's what makes a Jack Bush really special. This is perhaps the sculptural version of a color field painting. It's by an American-Canadian artist, Robert Murray, who did many commissions across Canada from Vancouver Airport through to Hart House over the years, especially in the 60s and 70s. Bob has always been identified with the Greenbergian school of color, and in fact, that is as much about the work as it is about the sculpture itself, about its physical presence. So I call it origami in steel because he's twisted and bent the steel, but ultimately we are again talking about color. Of course, the green is evocative. He made his home in the summers in Georgian Bay, and the green, I think, is very much symbolic of that nature in that area. Behind it is something that is probably totally unrelated to these pictures. It's a 1990, late 1990s, Yves Gaucher. Well, Yves, like me in the early days, was the master of gray. So to find him later in his life painting in color is a special moment. And the relationship between the blues and the reds is quite remarkable. Also remarkable is simply the velvet surfaces of the work. This is as much as you will experience of the works unless you come and see them in the gallery in October, November 2020. See you then. Thank you.